So let's talk about a huge challenge facing Australia right now. It's in the tech industry, and it's something that can impact everything from our national security all the way down to your own personal data. But here's the twist. What looks like a crisis on the surface is actually one of the biggest career opportunities out there. So let's dive into this cybersecurity skills gap and figure out how you could be a part of the solution.
To really get a handle on the sheer size of this opportunity, you've got to understand the demand. And the scale is, well, it's pretty staggering. By 2026, it's projected that Australia will be short nearly 30,000 cybersecurity experts. No, that's not a typo. 30,000. That is a massive number of high-paying, important jobs just sitting there, waiting to be filled.
And look, this isn't just a few companies having a hard time hiring. We're talking about a genuine nationwide shortage that poses a real risk to our digital infrastructure. And that reality frames a pretty critical question for you personally.
So, what's the holdup? Well, the challenge is that our traditional ways of learning, the university pathways we've relied on for decades, they just can't train experts fast enough to keep up. If the old methods are falling behind, then what's the new answer?
Well, it makes sense, right? To tackle a modern problem, you need a modern way of learning. Let's compare them. On one hand, you've got traditional education, which can feel like this multi-year marathon. It's broad, it's theoretical. The alternative? Microcredentials. Think of these as short, powerful sprints. They're laser-focused on the practical, hands-on skills that employers are desperate to hire for right now.
So let's take a closer look at this modern approach. It's so effective because it's really built around two key ideas: having the flexibility to actually fit into your life and having that sharp focus on the specific skills that companies are screaming for. Okay, so the theory is great, but how does this all actually work in the real world? This whole model is built on three really simple core ideas. Let's break them down.
First, it has to be practical. We are not talking about memorizing theory from a textbook here. This is all about getting your hands dirty with skills you can literally use on the job from day one. Second, it's skills-driven, and this part is huge. They basically design the programs backwards. They start with what the industry is actually hiring for, and then they build the courses. And third, they're stackable.
And I love this analogy for stackable. Think of it like Lego bricks. Each course you finish is its own little block. It's valuable all by itself. But the real magic happens when you start clicking them together, stacking them over time to build something way bigger, a full, impressive qualification. So what does the learning actually feel like? Well, it's a really dynamic mix. You get the flexibility of watching videos whenever you want, but you're not just watching. You're combining that with practical work-based projects. You're doing. And maybe the best part, you're not on your own. If you get stuck, you have access to live tutors to help you out.
Now, all this sounds great, but it leads us to the most important question, doesn't it? How does all this learning actually build a real-world credential that an employer is going to respect?
Yeah, this is the big one, right? How does this all translate into something that a hiring manager will see on your resume and actually recognize and value? It's a completely fair question, and the answer really comes down to one word: credibility.
The key to all of this credibility is something called the SFIA framework. Now, don't worry about the acronym. All you need to know is that SFIA is the globally recognized standard. It's the rulebook that employers all over the world use to measure and verify digital skills.
So, what that means for you is immediate and super tangible. Your skills get measured against that global standard, which means you earn official verifiable digital badges. And these aren't just for show. You can add them directly to your resume, to your LinkedIn profile, giving you concrete proof of your skills that carries some serious weight with employers.
And remember that whole Lego brick idea? Here's how that journey actually plays out. You start by completing a few microcredentials and earning those FCIA badges as you go. From there, you can choose to take more assessments and keep building all the way up to a full AQF qualification. That's the national standard for education here in Australia. It's a clear, step-by-step path from a single skill all the way to a formal degree if that's what you want.
So all of this brings us back to the most important part of the conversation: you. How do you go from just being interested in this to actually being a part of it?
Honestly, it doesn't matter if you're looking to add a few new skills to your current job or if you're thinking about a complete, total career change. The door to this industry is wide open. This is a chance to get into one of the fastest growing and frankly most important fields on the entire planet.
We started with that huge number, a 30,000 person skills gap. But let's just reframe that for a second. That's not a crisis for you. That is 30,000 opportunities, 30,000 open doors.
Look, the question isn't whether the industry needs people. We know it does. The real question is for you. Are you ready to be one of them?